Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. I'm super excited for this week's video because it is my birthday week and I thought we'd do something totally different and lots of fun this week in celebration of that. And it wouldn't be a birthday without a birthday cake. So in this week's video, we will be using cake decorating supplies to make a painting. I'm very excited and I think you're gonna like this one. But before we get started, please hit those like and subscribe buttons down below. It helps out my channel immensely. With that said, let's get painting. Okay, so here's our supplies. I've got a 6x6 encaustic board. It's reinforced with a cradle board on top, as you can see right here. And it is pre-primed already, which is fantastic. And then we have our palette knife, a brush, and little cake decorating tips I picked up at Walmart for like $2. Lots of fun. Our piping bags right here. Any cake piping bag will do. And then we also have some white gesso. I will be priming the board again. And we have some hard molding paste. And here's the white paint I will be using. If you look closely, it does say that it is a heavy body. You need to use heavy body paint for this. Other paints will not work. I am just going to quickly prime this board on all sides since the sides are not primed, and we are going to be painting the sides today. Okay, so quickly taking a look at these tips, I like the small one we're going to use, and then we're definitely going to use this little leaf one, maybe this one for petals on a flower, and this little star one here. And if you flip it over, take a look at the back, you'll see that each tip has a little diagram on the back to show you what you can do with it. Okay, so we are going to go ahead and get our piping bags ready. We're going to be placing the tips on the inside here, like so, and fix it because it never slides in right. And give it a little push till it comes all the way up to the top. And take your scissors, and we're going to score around the whole tip, like so. And then we could pull that out and clip it off with the scissors. And I think we're going to need to actually tape this in place. As you can see, it slides out pretty easily, and we don't want an accident happening with all of our paint. So I'm just going to take some Scotch tape I have on hand here and tape it around the tip so that it touches both the bag and the plastic piping tip. And we'll do it again for good measure. Make sure it doesn't pop off. Okay, I've got all 4 bags ready to rock and roll. And you're going to want to put your board on a piece of cardboard here so that you can easily lift it up like that, and you don't risk the chance of ruining your painting. So here I have the molding paste. I'm just going to whip it up real quick and check out the consistency. It is pretty thick, and I feel like it's a little bit on the grainier side than regular paint. But if you want to add color to it, you can, like so. I'm just using white on white for right now, but you can obviously do this with color. Put it in there and you give it a good whip, and that'll easily thicken up your paint. And now we're going to load up our piping bag. We're going to unroll or roll down the piping bag quite a ways so we can get in there. And then we're going to take the paste or the paint, whichever, and just drop it in with a palette knife. Okay, once it's all loaded, let's go ahead and roll it back up and then give it a good twist and a little bit of pressure to squeeze it towards the tip. And then always check out your tips on the side here to make sure it looks right to you. Okay, so that's looking pretty thick, so I think we'll go ahead and try this out for a flower. It's definitely not as thick or as firm as I had hoped it could be using that molding paste. I was kind of hoping that we could really create something similar to a flower on a cake with actual frosting. But it's okay. It's close enough. Okay, so now we can go ahead and take our palette knife and move the paint around just a little to give it the shape that we want. And then we can also remove any excess that we don't want. And there is quite a lot of extra here, so I'm going to go ahead and just chop this off right there and smooth it back out. And now I'm going to come in here with my palette knife and just gently shape these petals a little bit to make them a little bit softer. Okay, and I'm going to load up my next bag here, again using just the white on white. And this tip is that little small single hole tip that we can use to make little swirls and vines or whatever in the painting. Okay, and we're going to go ahead and give it a good twist and gently squeeze out a line of paint, like so. Little swirls here and there all over. Okay, and let's make sure that we come off the front and onto the sides of that paint so that we can really take advantage of all sides of this board. And let's put a few little drops here and there for added texture and detail. You can really have a lot of fun with these tips. You could obviously squeeze them out however you'd like. You could do stripes or little dots like I'm doing. You could blend them down a bit if you want. I think I'll add some in the middle of this flower to give it additional texture. Really, you could do a lot. Don't forget to clean off your tips here like I'm doing. They can get clogged on occasion or a little messy, and that can really ruin your piece. So make sure your tips are clean. I am just having all kinds of fun with this. I am just going wherever I want to go. I'm not even thinking about it. Neither should you, honestly. This is just so much fun. I could probably do this all day. Honestly, if I wasn't a painter, I think I would be a cake decorator. I think that is my second dream job right there. Don't forget to do your sides again over here. I really want to make sure that all 5 sides have some paint on them. And I think I'll just put another flower over in this bottom left corner using the current tip that I have. And I'll just come in with my palette knife again and smooth it out in the middle to make it look a little bit better. And I'm going to come in and just remove some of this excess paint here because there is a lot. Okay, now we're going to take that little star tip that we had and just squeeze it out here and there for additional texture. Okay, now it's time for my favorite tip, the leaf tip. I'm really excited about this one. I think it has the most unique shape to it. And we're going to test it out real quick, make sure we have it at the right angle, which we don't. So let's turn it right there. Perfect. All right, here we go. So we're going to just give it a little squeeze and then pull. And another squeeze and then pull, and fail that one, but we'll do another one. Squeeze and then pull. Don't keep squeezing because then it won't look right. It'll just be a line like you just saw what I did. So I'm just going to drop these leaves kind of all over the place. I love this. This is so much fun. Oh my goodness. Now I think I have to go make a cake after this. Now, there may be some settling with the paints as they dry. It won't be very much. You might notice it a little bit. I'm sure, some of these textures will drop down a bit, but it really won't be too bad as long as you're using a heavy body paint. They'll mostly retain their shape. And we're gonna make sure that the paint comes off the top and onto the sides there as well. Okay, so we should probably let this dry overnight so that we could do the next layer. So we're going to be making some pretty little pink flowers here. I've got my magenta, my white, and some primary yellow. And I'm going to create a really lovely, warm, soft pink color. And we're actually going to be mixing this up and putting this in the bag with white so that it has a marble effect to it. It's going to be really pretty. Okay, here it is inside the bag. I did not overmix it. And we are using that little star tip that I liked. There we go, little star flowers. We're going to drop in all over the place with this pink and white marbled paint. Look at that, super easy to create all these little beautiful star flowers all over this painting. I just love this so much. This is going to be great. Don't forget about your side here. We're going to plop in a couple. That's quite large, but it's fine. And one over here. Again, using a really heavy body paint, it's really not a big deal. They're not going to like drop down or slide off your painting. If they're really heavy bodied, they will mostly retain their shape and height. Okay, so we're going to mix up a green using some phthalo blue, white, primary yellow, and I might incorporate this interference green. And we're just going to blend this right in to create a really nice soft green color for the leaves. I'm going to add even more white because I want this to be a really soft pale green color. Okay, so I did not have a piping tip that was small enough for the leaves that I wanted to do, so I just made my own by cutting the piping bag itself into the shape of the leaf pipe, if that makes sense. So it's actually quite easy to do. Just mimic the design onto the bag. It's really just a couple of snips to get this look. So again, I marbled the paint with the white, so the green plus the white in the bag, but I did not over mix it so that it blended together. And this creates that really pretty marble look into the paint. And let's make sure that we don't forget about our sides here. We want to make sure that this whole board is covered in paint. Okay, so you know what? I think I will take some of that really pretty iridescent green right there, that paint, and mix it up with some green. I don't know if you could see that or not, but it's very shimmery. Gives it a beautiful iridescent look. And I'm just going to brush that on those bigger white leaves that I put in earlier. Okay, I'm just going to put a little bit of soft yellow in the center of those two larger flowers that I put in the beginning here, like this, and we are just about done. Okay, so I wanted to show you what this looks like with the direct sun hitting it. It is so tall with that paint that is actually casting shadows. Look at that rich, thick texture that we achieved. And I also wanted to show you that beautiful green iridescent paint that I used on the leaves. Take a look at those lighter color leaves. See right there? You could see that iridescent shining through on those leaves. It is just lovely. I love that paint. Okay, guys, we're finished. Here's the finished piece. This was so much fun. I had so much fun showing you how to do this. I haven't done this in years, so this was a really great treat for me. Like always, I will be sure to link all the supplies that I used today down below in the description. Let me know what you guys think in the comments down below, or if you have any suggestions, recommendations, or if you would like me to teach you how to paint something else, please let me know. Thank you again for tuning in to this week's video, and I hope to see you next week.